Master of Ceremonies, Governor General, Deputy, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, President of COTA, heads of tax administrations, distinguished members of the Diplomatic Corps, delegates and invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Secretary General and staff of the Caribbean Community Secretariat, I wish to salute the Caribbean Organization of Tax Administrators on the convening of its 24th General Assembly and Technical Conference. This meeting is being held 1 year later than its usual convening, and is testimony to the determination and strength of purpose which characterizes CARICOM tax administrators. I therefore wish to thank the St. Kitts and Nevis Inland Revenue Department and indirectly the government of St. Kitts and Nevis for hosting this event, and to congratulate the organizers on the wonderful arrangements that have been put in place to make this General Assembly and Technical Conference a success. Ladies and gentlemen, my first task this morning is to introduce the members of the COTA Executive Council. To you, the Council has overseen the affairs of COTA over the last 3 years. The Executive Council comprises the President and 5 other members, as well as the immediate past President. The current President of COTA is the Guyana Revenue Authority, which is today represented by Mrs. Hema Khan, the Deputy Commissioner General. The members of the executive are Barbados, Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Turks and Caicos Islands, as well as Trinidad and Tobago as the immediate past President. As you're aware, the Executive Council is expected to meet twice per year to review and determine the COTA work program. Over the last 3 years, the Executive Council has had several physical and virtual meetings. As you can see, we're keeping up with the times and we're using the technology in order to discharge its responsibilities to the members of COTA. While the COTA work program has not progressed quite as intended during the tenure of this council, I'm happy to report that several initiatives designed to promote and raise the visibility of COTA are currently in progress. These initiatives include the COTA Tax Database, the CARICOM Tax Professionals Network, and the COTA Technical Working Group. However, the Spirit of COTA Award, the SOCA, was awarded to the St. Lucia Inland Revenue Department for successfully hosting the 2017 Inland Revenue Games. And later this morning, we will announce the winners of the COTA 2017 Essay Competition and the recipients of the COTA Appreciation Award. In addition, we will have our second Heads of Tax Administrations meeting on Thursday afternoon, so that the executives of CARICOM tax administrations have the opportunity to address regional issues of interest to them. These initiatives have all been or are being undertaken within the context of the COTA Strategic Plan for 2012-2015, and which was later extended to 2017. The strategic plan aims at positioning COTA as the premier tax policy advisory organization in the Caribbean community. You may wish to note that a recent conference of heads of government reaffirmed their commitment to the CARICOM single market and economy as the principal vehicle to drive growth and development in the community. In this regard, CARICOM heads of government have recommitted to the harmonization and cooperation agenda to support the free movement regime as the foundation of CARICOM economic integration. Of interest to COTA is the current effort to review the intra-CARICOM double taxation agreement to address any loopholes which promote tax avoidance and to ensure that it's aligned with global standards for the exchange of tax information. A revised intra-CARICOM double taxation agreement will be supported by CARICOM, corporate tax instrument, which will seek to establish a harmonized basis for the determination of corporation taxes in member states. Even as we work on advancing the community's tax agenda, we must recognize that this meeting is being held at a time when CARICOM states have still not recovered from the impact of the 2008 global economic and financial crisis. Growth rates across the region remain depressed and continue to lack the growth performances of other small island developing states across the world. Of major concern is the many delays encountered in national project implementation, which delay the realization of benefits and impede the achievement of stated priorities. At the same time, public debt continues to grow, and many governments lack the fiscal space to undertake the new investments required to drive growth and build economic resilience. Nevertheless, CARICOM governments have signaled their commitment to implement the 2015 Addis Ababa Action Agenda emanating from the Third International Conference on Financing for Development in order to secure the means to finance the achievement of the agreed Sustainable Development Goals. Specifically, governments have committed to, among other things, a number of measures to enhance domestic resource mobilization, including improving the fairness, transparency, efficiency, and effectiveness of their tax systems, including by broadening the tax base and strengthening tax administration. And that's a direct quote from the outcome statement for the Addis Ababa conference. This commitment rests squarely with national tax administrations, which are required to reform their operations to maximize revenue collections in a sustainable manner. The theme of this General Assembly and Technical Conference, Promoting Voluntary Tax Compliance and Cooperation, a paradigm shift in tax administration in the community, is intended to advance the conversation among CARICOM tax administrators on the best practices which could support the strengthening of their functions as well as their revenue mobilization efforts. Over the next few days, tax administrations will exchange views on their experiences and on workable solutions as they seek to transform their administrations to make them fit for the purpose of enhancing national revenue mobilization. However, even as tax administrations grapple with the task of efficiently mobilizing public revenues, they're challenged by external demands for jurisdictions to become compliant with the International Tax Transparency and Cooperation Agenda. This agenda is coordinated by the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development via the Global Forum and the Center for Tax Policy and Administration. The global agenda has evolved from the standard for the exchange of tax information upon request to automatic exchange of information, along with a common reporting standard for the exchange of information from financial institutions, plus the action plan against base erosion, profit shifting. These initiatives are directed at the arrest of what is considered to be aggressive tax avoidance through international financial transfers. Jurisdictions are required to be largely in compliance with these global standards before they are considered to have satisfied their international obligations regarding the mitigation and management of risk and to avoid being labeled as a non-cooperating jurisdiction. Often, the burden of national compliance with these global standards falls to tax administrations, which are often required to retool and restructure their operations to meet these international commitments. So, ladies and gentlemen, the technical program for the conference seeks to provide participants with a balanced overview of the issues surrounding the challenges of enhancing domestic resource mobilization while remaining in compliance with member states' international commitments. I therefore expect the usual intensive interrogation of the issues as we share our views on successful solutions and ongoing challenges. I therefore wish you all a successful technical conference and look forward to the conversation over the next few days. Thank you.
Stay up to date with news, programs, and activities of the government with SKNIS. Like us on Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud. Follow us on Twitter. And watch our videos on YouTube. Connect with us today. SKNIS, St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service.